Welcome to Goldcross and welcome to OneFile. This short tutorial is going to show you how to set up your OneFile, how to create an assessment, submit it and offer feedback. So this is what we call your keychain. So you have an account set up which was sent to you via email and brings you to your keychain. Now, as you can see, I have more than one account. I'm going to go into my learner account as you guys are the learners. So this is your dashboard, your home page, if you like. And all the things you need are on this home page. Okay, we have overall target progress, what I like to call the rev counter. And the idea is that for the start of your goal, you are at 0 and you work all the way around to 100%. That's when it will then go to internal verification and we will claim your certificate. So in here you have lots of different tabs. Your tasks. Okay, you would have tasks set up. You'll have your primary assessor. In your case, it will be me or somebody else. In this case, it is Tanya. And lots of little tabs here. Now, your go-to tab is this one over here on the right. As you can see, when it pops out, you've got the similar tabs that you see down here. But I just find it an easier way to find things. Again, your progress rev counter is here. But if we click on that, it will bring down your individual units. In my case, there is 8, and this bar will go progressively green as we go down. And then each unit, you'll get 100%, 100%, and work all the way down. So in this tab here, we also have a gap analysis. Now, this is a pie chart. Now, when you first start, it will look like a red disc, but we'll click on that, and we can check our criteria by these filters. So I'm going to go for show all for now and apply. And this brings down all of the criteria within each unit. Each unit has a heading and a title. Now this is important because you'll need to put this heading, this reference number, in as a title when you create an assessment. We'll see that in a second. So just looking at this unit then, this unit is broken down into a few learning outcomes. Okay, learning outcome 1, be able to control contracts against agreed quality standards and guidance. Now your title might be different, but this is my learning outcome 1. And you'll see 1.1, 1.2, right the way down to 1.9. And then it comes into outcome 2, which then subsequently goes 2.1, right the way down to, in this case, 2.15. Now if you notice, red box here with an N, and there's a key at the top, that means no progress. That means I'm not covered by an assessment. I haven't created an assessment with these criteria in it. Moving down to outcome 2, however, is showing a P. Now P is for progress pending. I have created an assessment, in this case called PRJ1, which has this criteria assigned, and now it's showing as pending. Now I can go into this assessment by clicking this here, and then carry on with my assessment there. Or my assessor can go into this assessment via here and look for a quick assessment. And as we complete these assessments, these P's will turn green with a C for completed, and this dotted line around the box will go solid. So that's your gap analysis. Really handy towards the end of a qualification when you're trying to find out what criteria has not been met and what has been met. It's a good tool to use. So back to our tab then. You can adjust your profile. And we can go into my portfolio. So on here, assessment evidence. Now assessment evidence is really good because this is what I like to call your evidence bank. So as you select files from your computer or from your phone, you can select files and drop in any file you feel suits. Once you've selected a file, uploaded, it comes into what I like to call my evidence bank. So all your files will be stored in this evidence bank and will become a list. Now you do have the option to manage folders, create folders and manage folders to make things easier for you to find. But what I will suggest is that you label your documents in a way that you understand and can find the evidence quickly. So assessments then. So your job will be to create your assessments. Now, like I said, in my instance, I have 8 units. So I will be setting up assessments for them. So these are assessments I've already created. Now let's have a look at them. So WQN1 relates to H5058217. That is the title we are looking for. And don't forget, we can find them in the rev counter, or you can click onto here, which brings up the unit and the learning outcomes. And that opened it as a second tab. So this box here, develop and maintain working relationships. I will now type my answer, but I can also attach evidence. So by here, I can go straight back to selected files and drop it in, or I merely go to my evidence bank and attach it. And as you can see, it is now here, that file that I saved. So working through these criteria, I will get to the end, or when I feel that I'm satisfied with the assessment, or I've completed enough boxes to get some decent feedback, I will feed back to my assessor. I can put learner time in, so perhaps it took me 30 minutes, and then I can sign it by ticking this box. Once it's signed, save and quit. Now save and quit will only take us back to a previous page, but it saves. So if we go back in, you'll see the piece I did was saved. Save and refresh, however, saves it but keeps you on this page. Now I strongly recommend using this save and refresh button quite regularly as you're going through your assessment. So to create an assessment then, we will go to this tab here, create assessment. We're going to select a method. Now I want you to use project, work product, or written questions. And this is because they have defaults assigned. So some assessment methods will be expected for the assessor to work on, and others for you. So for you, project, work products, written questions. I'm going to go with written question. Got today's date. This is the date that the assessment is created. I'm going to go and put my title in. This relates to one of the units that I showed you before in the rev counter. Now here, what I want you to do is click separately against individual criteria. Now this allows for those individual boxes to come down for you to answer separate criteria. Now holistically against multiple criteria means you can write a big essay, but we will need to map it secondary so we can assess it. So your go-to is going to be this separately against individual criteria. And then we're going to start. So what we've done now, we've created this WQN2 assessment. WQN2 has an assignment date and an assignment title, but it doesn't yet have any criteria attached. That's where this button comes in. So we're going to set criteria. We're going to go to the unit that we said we was going to do, and we can go in outcome by outcome, criteria by criteria if we like. But what I want you to do is when you've got your unit, click all, because we want all the criteria in the one assessment. Essentially, I'm looking for, in this instance, 8 assessments. So I'll set the criteria. So I'm going to go back now to WQN2. So once you've selected all, save. Now let's highlight all the criteria you want within that assessment. So we need to go into the assessment now. Okay, here. And here we have it. So here is the assessment that we've just set out. And going back through the stages like I just showed you, we're going to complete, perhaps attach some evidence, in which case this one, and we will save and refresh as we go. Once I've completed this assessment, or I've completed enough that I want it to be bounced to my assessor, I will tick this box, save and quit. That's how to set up an assessment. So what we need to remember is that assessments will be assessed and fed back on, and it may seem like a bit of a game of table tennis to start with. You submitting an assessment, assessor bouncing it back to you, making some amendments and submitting that assessment again. Assessor may accept it or bounce it back again, but you cannot fail an NVQ. The only time you'll fail an NVQ is by running out of time. The assessors here at Goldcross are trained to give constructive feedback to get you to the answer we need. And it doesn't matter if you have to submit the same assessment 6, 8, 10 times. follow our feedback and you'll get to the requirements you need. Once the assessment's been assessed and accepted, that will then show up in your gap analysis as completed criteria, and your rev counter will start to work around here. So this gives you a good indication of where you are on the qualification, and this is your go-to to find out what criteria you have met, what you still need to meet, and what is pending. So I hope that's been helpful for you today, and you've got enough information on how to create an assessment, and we look forward to your first submission. Good luck.